Right then, this is the bowl that's split. A great chunk of it came off. I glued it, left it overnight, and I've just started reprofiling it, making it a lot shallower around here. It was a bit of a deep squarish edge thing before. Now I can see the crack at the moment. I'm going to see what it's like when I've turned it down. If it's okay, fine, we'll carry on. If it shows up a bit too much, I've been given another idea, but more about that if I have to do it. So I'm just going to carry on. Hopefully it won't come apart again. Does seem to be holding up okay. Still want to take a little bit more off, make this a bit shallower still. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that shape now. Now I'll just attack the inside. I definitely heard something then. It appears it's okay. It might have just been catching on the little ridge, which is why I'm going very gently until I make sure that these two halves are lined up. Yeah, I can still see the crack, so I don't know whether to just fill that in with a bit of sawdust. I'm going to take it down a bit further first. Right, let's have a look. That crack is not going to disappear, and it might not even look right if I fill it with sawdust. So I'm very tempted to go with Alpha Tardos. Give me an idea. And yeah, I think I'm going to give it a go. What I'm going to do is cut the bowl on the saw right along where the crack used to be, thereabouts, and add a piece of wood of some contrasting colour. Then it looks like it's supposed to be there, and it will make it a little bit different, won't it? So that's what I'm going to have a go at with this one. Right, I've cut the chunk out. This just did on the bandsaw, so you can see 2 bits, and there's the piece I took out, which I've got to replace because I've got the split in it. See it? There you go. So I'm just sanding these 2 pieces down first, and then I'll sort out a piece of wood to put in there. I've got a nice piece of walnut here, which I've just sanded down, and then I had a look on the shelf and I've got some purple heart, which I've just sanded down. Well, which one shall I put in? And I thought, well, might as well put both of them in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pop the bowl on there and draw around it roughly. With my drawing, it certainly will be rough. It just gives me a rough idea of the shape that I want to cut out on the bandsaw. So I'll get that cut out on the bandsaw and see about gluing it into the bowl, if I can think of a way of clamping it in. Right, I've got a little piece of oak here in the screw chuck, and I'm just making another little bottom for that little oak bowl. I'm just rounding this off, and I want to get a good tenon on there so I can get it in the jaws of the chuck. Bit deeper, I think. Oh, just a little bit more to go. Right. Right, I've got the little base, and I've got the got this oak bowl in the button jaws very gently, just gripping. I don't want to force the whole thing apart. I'm going to try and cut this out so this piece fits in. It's very slightly smaller than the actual mortise that was in the bowl originally. So I'm going to go very gently. This may or may not work. Whichever way, you'll see it. And I think I'll just go in with the narrow parting tool. Well, I surprised myself there. Now that will go. Just got to take a fraction more out so it jams in there. Wow, surprising. So I'll go in with the square carbide tip, I think, just to take a little bit off this edge. Oh, nearly. Very near. It's like fitting a lid on a box, this is. Keep trying, keep taking a little bit off. That's it. That just about goes in. Yeah, that fits in very nicely. Very nicely indeed. I'm going to get that glued in and I shall leave that to set and then work on it again later on. Right, this little ash bowl I've decided it's going to be a different colour. So, because it's sort of recycled, I'll paint it green, or stain it green. Got my little airbrush here. I'm just going to give it a quick coat on the outside and then probably put some liming wax on it. That'll do. Right, let that dry for a couple of minutes, so I'm just going to go over it with some 600 Abranet very quickly, just to open it up slightly, open the grain up slightly so I can put the liming wax on. Nice clean piece of paper towel. Now when you're applying the liming wax, ash is one of the best woods to put it on actually because of the grain. You have to put it on across the grain. It sort of lifts the grain then. You have to put quite a fair amount on, depending on what effect you want really. Always go across the grain like so. You can see it turning the grain white already. Now let that do its thing for a few minutes and then polish it off. Then I can get the bowl turned round and do the same effect to the inside. Well, working freehand now at the moment. I've just gone and broke my camera mount on my tripod camera mount, so I've had to super glue that and hope that it holds together. Meanwhile, back at the oak bowl, that's setting quite nicely, and I've salvaged a load of oak shavings from the bandsaw, which I'm going to put in a little lid there and mix it with tight bond there, and then fill in these cracks with the oak. I'm not going to bother with the epoxy. I'm going to actually fill them in with the actual wood that came off the bowl in the first place. So I might have to do a bit of digging with the Dremel first to make them a bit better. But that's the next step on the little oak bowl anyway. Right, we'll try buffing this off now. That seems to be working. It's just got that nice little tinge on the grain there. I shall carry on with that now and then turn it round. Right, I've just polished that up with some this microcrystalline wax that I told you about yesterday or whenever it was, and wow, it's come up really well. But when you think the actual liming wax is a polish itself, so by putting this microcrystalline wax on top of it, you've got that extra shine. It's beautiful. It's like glass, that is. So there are plenty other on the market, but I've had one or two people mention certain polishes. I won't name them because I might get into trouble. I think they're very expensive, and so I'm quite happy with the polishes that I've got now. The Wood Wax 22, this microcrystalline wax, a wax stick which I use now and again, and they'll do for me. That's just my opinion about the polishes, by the way. Don't let me stop you. You want to buy whatever you want. That's just, I like the ones I've got, they suit me. Right, okay. Got the bowl turned round, as you can see, and I've been sanding it down. Got to just carry on there with a bit finer grit. Now I'm not going to do the inside green. I think it looks really nice as it is, but I will lime wax the inside and then just polish it up. I think that'll look quite effective. So I'm going to get on with that now, and I'll show you the finished article. Well, there's the first little bowl done, the little ash bowl. I wanted to keep quite plain. Just coloured the outside and just give it a polish on the inside, and I think that's come out really well. Very pleased with that now. Yep, so that's number 1 done. Number 2 and 3 are on the way. I've sliced this one, ready for its inserts, and I've glued the little bottom onto the oak bowl. So those are the next ones. Right, that is my contraption for putting the pieces on this half, well, 3/4 of a bowl. Now when you try and clamp something square onto something round, it's really hard to hold it down. So I've put it in the drill press, which is the only thing I could think of that will give it an even pressure, and I'm holding the handle down with a big clamp to give it the pressure required. Then I haven't got to stand there for an hour while the glue goes off. So you do think of these little things to get you out of trouble. Right, let's see if we can do anything with this effort. Well, getting it back to round's bad enough, but it's getting there. It's going to take quite a while. I should just keep chipping away. Oh, big chunks of something fell off there. Looks like a bit more sawdust is needed. Looks like a lot more sawdust is needed. Just highlight that bit for you. There you go. Quite a big lump come out there. But I think this might come out as well if I don't do something about it. But I'm finally getting it somewhere near round now, so I'll carry on scraping for a little bit, then I'll do a bit more filling. Right, I've been going over it with some sawdust and CA glue, moulding it all in round there, and I've just started rounding it off, blending it in with a little 10mm carbide cutter. I've gone over another couple of weak points and strengthened it up with CA glue and sawdust, so it's quite a solid little bowl at the moment. We still want a lot of work to smooth it off. But I think it's getting there, and it hasn't fallen apart yet. Oh, it's blending in quite nicely now. Now I'm just going to take some fine scrapes off here, get rid of a bit of this glue. But I don't want to take the thickness down much more, as little as possible really, it's thin enough as it is. That's coming on very well. I might just take a little bit off the rim, still slightly out of shape. And now I'll work on the inside, and hopefully I'll have saved another bowl. I shan't speak too soon, just in case anything happens. Well, there's the little bowl done. Complete transformation of this one. Nice little sort of stand, little foot on it now. Took that horrible ridge out that was in the centre. It's thinned right out. New base in it. Very light now, much better. And no epoxy. I ended up just filling it with wood shavings and CA glue, etc. Nice finish on it as well. I haven't been too fussy about the finish because it's a rustic looking bowl. So that's number 2 out of the way. On to the next one. Right, the last bowl. I've put a sandwich of walnut, purple heart and walnut, very roughly cut as you can see, but I've put the bowl upside down, drew a line round it because I've got to get the right thickness before I put this back on. Now I have sanded this now, so this last piece should fit within those lines as near as I can get, and it does. So now I know when I stick that back on there, I'm still going to have a round bowl and not something that is slightly out of shape You know, a bit too long, it'll never turn on the lathe, or same if it's a bit too short. So that turned out just right. So it was worth taking a bit of time over. So what I'm going to do now is flatten these ends off so it lies nice and flat, and then glue that piece onto there. Right, I've got this in the button jaws, very gingerly in the button jaws, because I don't want to split it apart. This bit here is just cutting into the mortise, so I've just got to take a little bit out there, then try to profile this. That's got that now, it's just rounded that little bit off. Now see if I can do something with the rest of it. Very, very gentle scrapes. I've got the tailstock up for a bit of extra support, but doesn't stop this whole section from coming off. And there you go. I'll go and find it. Well, still got it. And by the state of the glue, I haven't actually left it long enough to go off, so that was my fault entirely. So I shall reset it and carry on with it. I'm not giving up just yet. Well, there's two of my first bowls revamped. I love this green one. That was a plain little ash bowl, if you remember, very thick. I took the thickness right down now, a spray of green, and lime waxed the outside so you can see the white, and a very fine touch of lime wax on the inside to basically left that plain wood colour. And the little oak bowl is now solid once again, got a new base on it, filled in with oak shavings and sawdust, so I didn't bother using epoxy in the end, and quite pleased with that as well. The third one I'm still working on, the one that split in half, but I shall post a picture of that, probably tag it on to the end of the next video I do. So there you go, returned bowls revisited. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon for the next one, everybody. Take care now. Bye.